Dunkin' has a whole new line of handcrafted signature lattes. Blueberry Crisp, Caramel Craze, and Cocoa Mocha. They're so delicious, you'll realize that you've been spending a whole latte time drinking the wrong coffee. So even though you've been together for years, it's time to say goodbye to your ex. Coffee Place. Because you've got a latte love for Dunkin's signature lattes. Sipping is believing with Dunkin's new handcrafted signature lattes, like Blueberry Crisp, Caramel Craze, or Cocoa Mocha. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.
TV party tonight! What? TV party tonight!
Oh, we got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Don't want to talk about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated, yes, to our favorite shows!
Oh, my circuit! Everybody loves Hypnotoad! Scary Dog! Dancing at Blurnsville!
Futurama!
All right, that's a new theme you just heard here on TV Party Tonight. We're on tour. We're on the road to nowhere in particular, and so I had to re-download Spreaker and put up some new themes, and so I figured, here's a thought, maybe I should do a podcast without violating a copyright law. Maybe, just maybe. I know that's what everyone's used to on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network, but I figured I'd give it a shot. Hello, and welcome to TV Party Tonight. Tonight, our favorite show is Black Mirror, Season 5, all 3 episodes of it. I feel gypped. And here to join me in the VR to play Striking Vipers.
Ooh. Oh, man. Already uncomfortable.
He's gonna check his app Hitcher to see what's all the news, and then we're gonna listen to Ashley fucking O cover some 9 Inch Nails for you, ladies and gentlemen. My friend and yours, the disapproving dad, Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
Black Mirror. How far have we fallen?
Really? You think so?
It's just, okay.
They started with fucking a pig. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but there was definitely a lot more. There was a lot more interest in that episode that I had than some of these well, I have 3.
Well, if I had my druthers, I'd screw that pig.
Call it politics. So, man, oh man, I'm telling you, dude, I don't know. 3 episodes, Bandersnatch, which we never did have a chance to do on here. And Bandersnatch, unfortunately, I mean, I think I made it through, but
I kept passing out. That was pre-CPAP.
Pre-CPAP, yeah. I mean, this was, I don't know. It just, I don't think something's missing nowadays. We're at the 5th season. We're only dropping 3 episodes, which I don't know why. Have they even explained why they only did 3 episodes this season?
Haven't read anything about it. And it's been a while since Black Mirror season 4. You know,
yeah.
It's been almost 2, a year and a half, 2 years. The last iterations, the season 4, which was 6 episodes, that had USS Callister, that had Hang the DJ, 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 Hang the DJ,
Hang the DJ.
The season 3 had 6 episodes. Of course, that had San Juniper, our favorite.
I guess I'll let you go ahead and I'll let you say that. I mean, it was good. It's better than what we got here, so keep going.
You think so?
San Juniper? I mean, it wasn't bad. I don't think there's anything out of these 3 that top San Juniper, in my opinion.
No, well, that's the thing. Like, I think USS Callister and San Juniper are like near the top of the list when it comes to individual Black Mirror episodes. I didn't. I'll do kind of a quick thing on these, and then we'll break them down episode by episode.
Okay.
Striking Vipers, I thought gives us the most to talk about.
Yes, absolutely.
this is going to be one of those that like peaks early and then sort of drifts towards the end because that's the way the episodes went. This was definitely kind of like descending order of interest, of enjoyability, of philosophy. Like so many, we've talked about this in the past. That so many of these episodes were such philosophically laden with such interesting things about technology and modern mores that it gave us a lot to talk about. Like some of our TV parties for Black Mirror ran really long because we kicked around a lot of information,
Yeah.
a lot of topics.
A lot of
This
grist
one,
for that mill.
yeah, Striking Viper has a lot to talk about, but then Smithereen has almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rachel, Jack, and Ashley too is fucking hilarious, and I feel like started out as somebody's screenplay for a like buddy adventure comedy movie, and like they couldn't get it made, and somebody was like, why don't we just tweak it and we'll make it a Black Mirror episode?
Why not? Why not? Yeah, I was thinking about that on the way home today. I was like, I wonder if they didn't do Striking Vipers last, because the first two they did, they were just like, oh man, there's nothing. We really haven't followed like the formula of Black Mirror here. We don't have a lot of socio technological commentary. And they're like, well, let's just throw all that shit into one episode. Oh, okay. And then they do Striking Vipers, and you're like, whoa, wait a second. So it feels like that was making up for what the other two lacked.
Yeah, maybe Striking Viper should have been the third episode, not the first one.
Yeah, then you're like, oh, okay, all right, now here we go.
Let's build up to fucking the polar bear. Not start with fucking the polar bear and working our way towards Miley Cyrus as an AI.
Yes. Hey, I went over to digitalspy.com.
Okay.
Speaking of Digital Spy, series creator and writer Charlie Brooker explained that the additional time spent developing December's interactive episode Bandersnatch is why the series has reverted to a shorter run. So there's our answer as to why we only got 3 episodes.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
So hopefully Black Mirror Season 6 goes back to 6 episodes. And less fucking in the VR.
Everybody fucking in a VR.
everybody is fucking in a UFO. All right, Striking Vipers. So the whole gimmick here is that you have 2 friends who are basically playing an iteration of like Street Fighter / Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And through technology that is rapidly evolving, they are able to enter into a virtual space where they become their avatars and they are able to play the game. They find out all too quickly that they don't just have to participate as the game was intended, which is a fighting game.
No, they do not. They go from fighting to making sweet, sweet love.
They go from fighting to fucking almost instantly. And the sensation and the feeling is real. So it's basic. So you have the one guy who's a female, using a female avatar, and then Anthony Mackie who's using a male avatar, and it feels like good old fashioned boy on girl sex, apparently.
By the way, just quick shout out here. We have two Marvel Cinematic alums here. Anthony Mackie, obviously, who played Falcon.
Yes.
And then we also Roxy was played by the girl who plays Mantis.
Palm Clementif.
From what?
Her name. Her name is Palm Clementif.
Palm, that's right, Palm. I thought you said Tom. I was like, Tom, who the hell is Tom?
And she's played by Tom Jones. Tom and his Jones.
So yes, okay, yeah, just throwing that out there. 2 MCU alums here.
Yep.
So, all right, where did you start talking about this?
All right, so this was a mixed bag for me, and I really want to get into, because I was talking to my wife about this for like hours.
That's what a Black Mirror episode is supposed to do.
Yeah, for sure. This one was less about. It's like in Black Mirror episodes past, the technology features kind of at the forefront of what the episode is, and the philosophical questions become, whether or not you use this technology as it's being used in the episode, how it affects civilization, how it affects the community, that sort of thing. I feel like first of all, this episode was heavily agenda laden.
Okay.
There was definitely, like, my wife and I were talking about this, and I don't see if you agree, but I feel like this episode wasn't just asking the question, when is cheating cheating? But it was more, I wouldn't say preaching. I think that's a bridge too far. But I definitely feel like the authors of the episode were saying that there's a whole other world of sex with other people to explore that isn't necessarily cheating. I think more to the point, we talked about polyamory on source material. God, it always comes back to that. When we discussed the Flintstones. And, at the time I said that my issue with polyamory is I feel like it's a solution for people who are clearly not satisfied in their relationship, but don't actually want to put in any work to fix it. I feel like polyamory is for people who, are just looking for things to make themselves feel good and not really wanting to do the hard work of trying to get along with your, with the person who you've decided you're going to be in a monogamous relationship with. Mm-hmm. And that works for some people. I'll get back to that in a second. And I feel like therein lies the argument in this episode. Because what you have is Anthony Mackie, who seems very dissatisfied in his marriage. Like, he doesn't want it to end. He wants to be married. He wants to, be a father to his child. But it's got a very American Beauty kind of a feel to it, where he's just, listless and lost and just sort of living the suburban life and feeling like a cat in a cage. Mm-hmm. And along comes this opportunity, and he starts banging his friend in the Street Fighter game, Striking Vipers, and and even his friend is like, it's not really cheating, it's like jerking off. And he could have continued, and if he was able to continue to do it without feeling the guilt, or without feeling like there's something inherently wrong in trying to bang my friend who looks like an Asian chick.
So fucking confusing.
but that's a whole other thing which we can get to. But I wanna get to this point and then kind of bring you in here because I'm anxious to hear. My wife already said, like, what Jesse's going to say, but I want to give you. I'm not doing this podcast with her, so
yeah.
I want to hear it from you. But if he was able to sort of continue the behavior without being distant from his wife, there would have been like no episode. Basically, it would have just gone on ad infinitum until he grew tired of it or whatever. But the character has sort of a crisis, has sort of a crisis of the heart, which leads them to this fight that they have, and then he gets arrested, and then his wife's like, "But for why?" And he has to kind of come clean.
No, boy.
And then at the end of the episode, and I'll shut up after this, but at the end of the episode, it's like a year later or whatever, and they've kind of come to an agreement that, like, I guess on his birthday, once a year, he can fuck his pal. And she can go get some strange from a bar. And this apparently is the solution to their problems in their marriage. So your thoughts, sir?
I don't think that's going to solve a whole lot.
No, I agree with you. But, do you have a problem with how I summed that up?
No, I think that's fine. I think that is definitely one of the aspects here, is the fact that he could.
I definitely feel like they're cheerleading for the explore other opportunities when your marriage is in like tatters.
I don't know if that's what the message was. That's kind of the agreement that they came to. I don't know if the showrunners thought to themselves, well, this is a happy ending. Really, in all honesty, it's what they call a happy medium, because they are they're just they both realize that they have these temptations that are gnawing at them apparently.
I would say
And
needs. Needs would be, I think, more accurate.
okay, all right, I would agree with that. I mean, this is something that they feel they need to do, and they're just like you said, it's the laziness of them not trying to work this out can definitely be attributed to that 1 day a year thing.
Right.
But it's going to cause more problems. It's not going to. I just don't see it, in my opinion. Then again, you know, I am my own person. I don't know. I've never been through something like this. I don't know what other people do. Maybe other people are perfectly fine with that.
Well, I know for a fact that they are. But again, see, I always think about Jake Roberts, Jake the Snake.
Jake the Snake.
For those of you playing Radulich and Broadcasting Bingo, that's the center square. We've made a wrestling reference for the night. But Jake the Snake Roberts talked about in the Beyond the Mat documentary. I believe it was Beyond the Mat.
It is.
Where
I know where you're going.
Okay, he talks about the ring rats. You know,
Mhm.
it's like first it's one ring rat, then it's two, then it's two you're just watching.
Yep.
Then it's two with toys, and then it just goes on, and then it's just like it's never enough, and it's never satisfying, and it only sort of quells the pain for a little bit, and then it's got to be bigger, badder, stronger, harder, faster. Somewhere it involves Captain Marvel, we don't know, but but at the end of it, you're mired in this like perverse situation. And you're still deeply unsatisfied. Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the counter argument to the seek. What's the word I'm looking for? Fulfillment from other places, and that should be okay. Like that's the polyamory argument, right? Like one husband, one wife, not enough. Other people can't always fulfill your needs. Seek fulfillment elsewhere, and everyone should be okay with it. Let there be no jealousy. Like this is like higher order thinking in theory.
So, imagine you're on a diet. Okay.
I am doing intermittent fasting. I have to stop eating at 7:00, and I'm not allowed to eat again until 11. You want to know what that's like when you're angry because Skype isn't working and your kids have interrupted your podcast and you want to throw the computer into the pool and you eat to make yourself feel better.
Things are starting to come together now. There's a bit of hangriness going on there. I see. So imagine you're on a diet, and one time a year, Mark Radulich, you have the opportunity to go get yourself a candy bar.
Sure.
That candy bar is so sweet. Oh, so tasty.
Just want to rub it on your genitals.
You just want to stick it right up your ass.
But
you oh man. So you have the means and you have the ease of access to go get another candy bar at any time that you want.
Sure.
Okay.
They're everywhere.
That is why I would liken it to temptation. You want to go get yourself another candy bar. You have the means, you have the access, you can do this. Now, granted, I think that they both they both came to an agreement. She had those, mental link things, and she gave them to him. So I don't think he can. My assumption is he just can't go and grab those things very easily.
Right.
But the point is that most likely
they came to a restrictive agreement that this was going to happen. This was a special occasion once a year or whatever.
Yeah, and it's something that's probably so enjoyable. Obviously, it's something that they both really like to do. They're going to try and make a effort. They could try and make an effort to do that when they're not supposed to. And I think that's why I don't like the whole. That's why I think I liken it to temptation, because it's there. They have that, and it's not going to make things any easier between them when one of them, I guess, succumbs to temptation to go and say the guy goes and grabs the mental links when his wife isn't looking. It's just not going to solve anything. That's my point.
Well,
I
that's the
don't think.
thing. Like, do you ever see the movie American Beauty?
Yes.
So that's like all about dissatisfaction in a marriage and feeling listless and all of that. That's why he wants to bang the neighbor's kid,
Hmm.
and then the neighbor wants to bang him, and turns out he's gay, so someone's got to die. Um, that whole thing. It was like the ugliness beneath the veneer of the perfect suburban life. You know what I mean? That's what's part of the reason why I both love and hate American Beauty at the same time. But I think in all of these situations, I mean, studies have even shown that like men are done a huge disservice by the idea of like boys don't cry, boys don't talk about their feelings. I had a friend of mine today who basically said like he's obviously mad at her for a variety of things, but he won't talk about anything.
No, he won't.
Um, and so that's a lot of guys. Now I happen to be in the mental health field, so talking is my thing. I talk about everything, and it's why I think my wife and I get along as well as we do. I mean, not that we don't have our own issues, but we're not as far back, maybe in progress, in middle age marriages on average, because we do talk about things, and we are pretty open about what's going on with us. I mean, sometimes you being open can go very badly. Um, But like I said, we know people who like they don't work on anything, and their marriages are kind of superficial, and they're based on lust and looks, and But when you start to get to the deeper stuff, they get very, very frustrated.
Hmm.
And so you have this character that Anthony Mackie is playing. His name is Danny, and clearly Danny is one of these guys. He's the classic boys don't cry, boys don't talk about their feelings. But clearly, he's very dissatisfied, and he doesn't know how to talk about it. And he's very much, holding his wife up on a pedestal that she doesn't want to be held on. She wants him to be real with her and get to the meat of things, get the grist of the mill out there, and he can't do it. And instead, he bangs his friend.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. I mean, he isn't. Communication's a huge, huge thing in a relationship.
Sure.
It's huge. So there's not enough of that going on between him and his wife.
But by the same token, I think that one of the things that's said is that there's like an unspoken communication going on between him and Carl that is expressed through this game, and that's what. So later on, like it's a funny line, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a throwaway line, because I think it goes to the idea of it goes to the thing I talked about with Jake Roberts, where perversion's never enough, and and it's sort of a black hole that leads to nowhere. But it's also this idea of when you truly connect with a person, the way you connect with nobody else on the planet, it's a special feeling, and really you can't get enough of it. And like he talks about how, look, he's tried fucking other people in the game. He fucked a polar bear, which is my favorite line in the whole episode. Just that look of desperation. He's like he takes like a pause, and he's like, "I fucked a polar bear, man." So good.
Yeah, and what's really strange is, okay, we're talking about this, and this is on a deeply personal level. Both of these individuals are finding something. I don't know if it's in one another or if it's just in the game itself. When we get to the end of the episode,
the game allows them to connect in a way they couldn't connect at. I mean, that's the whole point of the scene where they're kissing in the rain.
exactly. That's what I was getting to. It's like there's some kind of an attraction there, but it's not physical, because when when he finally says, "Okay, look, I've had enough," and Carl's like, "We're going to fight." No, kiss me. And you're like,
Just shut up and kiss me, man. Sexy.
So they've got to try and find out if there is some type of physical attraction, and that was what was weird to me, was the fact that, okay, they obviously have this connection, and it's on a incredible sexual level, but when
I think
they physically kiss each other,
I was gonna say, like, I wouldn't even just limit it to sexual. I think sex is an expression of an emotional feeling. Like, clearly Danny is emotionally stunted.
okay,
And Carl isn't exactly an emotional, reaching any heights of emotional maturity. He's a single guy in I think he's like a record producer. So he's kind of leaving. I wouldn't call it like a deviant lifestyle, but he's leading a lifestyle that doesn't require a tremendous amount of maturity and commitment. When you work in like A&R or record producing or whatever, it's kind of a party atmosphere. You're dealing with celebrities and artists, and
yeah,
it's not something where you necessarily have to, commit to like structured, high order thinking.
Yeah.
He kind of is more or less the same guy he was at the beginning of the episode, where he's dry humping him on the couch after he beats him in the game.
Yeah, party dude.
Right. So the hair may be shorter, but the personality's still the same. And he even talks about, like, him and the girl that he's with at that time aren't together anymore. They just wanted different things. And so you have one guy who's emotionally stunted and can't express himself, and another guy who's emotionally retarded, and has pretty much stayed in his 20s, even though he's much older. And this game allows them to break down those barriers and communicate on almost like a metaphysical level.
Okay, all right. Well, that's probably a lot deeper than I took it.
I've been thinking a lot about this.
I mean, there was so much. Number one, there was so much confusion for me in regards to, okay, who is attracted to what in here? I'm a man, and they will tell you that men are mostly visual.
Yes.
That's the kind of thinking that they do. If they're fantasizing about something, or it's all visual.
Yes.
For us.
Studies have shown that, like, porn pictures are there for men, but they don't really have the same effect on women.
Yeah. So, Danny's going into this, and I'm like, he's clearly attracted to. Who isn't attracted to some scantily clad, hot looking?
Oh, look, I'd bang Mantis. That's fine.
In a video game. So when he's doing this, it's, I'm sitting there thinking, well, okay, he's obviously got a thing for that girl, but somehow that transcends that and goes, whatever is happening there.
It's definitely not just fucking, dude.
Okay.
Because if it was just fucking, they just fuck, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, they're cuddling after. Like, they're talking.
So weird. It's I was watching this, and I saw all these things that they were trying to make a comment on. Number one, the sexuality, the homosexuality. Really, that wasn't I don't know. That was a part of it.
I don't, like, that's the thing, though. Like, I don't think this was a comment on, like, latent homosexuality. Because because again, they're avatars. One's a girl and one's a guy. I don't, like, if that's where they were going. I feel like this needed to have been written differently then. This needed to be about,
they had to cross that bridge, though. I mean, that's why he kissed him.
But he, as his avatar, kissed her.
That's right. But they had to find out if there was something. If there was.
But there wasn't. They specifically said there's nothing here. So again, I don't think latent homosexuality really plays a role in this. I think for that you have to have had, like, closeted guys, like finding other men in a virtual space, and, like, same kind of concept. But
I think I think it takes, honestly, center stage in all of this, because the whole time after he did this, he's trying to hide the fact that he did this from his wife. And I think he's honestly worried about himself being a homosexual. This is something that he didn't realize. Obviously, he was into girls. He married a girl.
That's
And then this
maybe a
happens.
character internal conflict. I think
Okay.
so I don't disagree with you if that's what you're saying. Like, part of this is the internal conflict of the character, like, trying to find like a binary answer to sexuality. Am I or aren't I?
Yeah.
But I don't think the authors of the episode were necessarily commenting about, as the parlance says, dudes on the down low.
Yeah. Law and Order SVU taught me that one.
I read a whole book on it. It was the dumbest thing I'd ever read.
Nice.
You hear that, Heather? I read a book about down low.
Yeah, Heather. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Shout out to you, girl.
I have no idea who you are, but I hope you're listening and enjoying the show.
She's not.
There were so many points in this episode that they had to touch on. We already talked about monogamy versus letting the significant other go out and.
Before we move on, let's talk about this. Let's just go right at one of the more philosophical questions of this episode. I think as far as like plot and character stuff, we've covered it as well as we're going to cover it, and I don't want to spend another hour on this.
Oh, we could too, man.
We really could. Like, this could have been just we could have just Black Mirror season 5 part 1,
Episode 1.
Yeah. But there's other stuff to talk about, and I don't want to go too long. So let me just ask you: there is a question that is asked in this episode, and that is, when is cheating cheating? If you go into a virtual space and you bang a gong, a polar bear, a girl, whatever.
Bang a gong. Get it on. Get it on.
Is that masturbating or is that cheating? If it's masturbating, is masturbating cheating? What are your thoughts? Putting you out there, Starcher.
I know. Is there another person on the other end of what is going on, just like in this situation, experiencing pleasure at the result of what you're doing?
Well, let's break it down.
Okay.
It's a very simple question. Is masturbating cheating?
Oh, just that? No. I wouldn't think that it would be.
See, some would argue that it would. And I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not necessarily revealing my opinion on the matter. But there are people that would say that if you are providing satisfaction for yourself, because you are not able to get satisfaction from your mate, then that's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
trust me. I know where you're going with that, because I've known some people that have thought the same way, but I honestly, it takes two to tango.
Okay.
All right. And Rosie Palmer isn't that second one.
Okay. So just getting yourself off, in your opinion, isn't cheating.
I do not believe it is.
Okay.
Do you have a counterpoint or counter argument?
I'm acknowledging there is one.
Okay. You don't want to argue.
No, I don't need that. We don't have to debate about it. I think we just need to explore the argument.
I think in this particular instance in the show, what this guy's doing is. I
mean, do you really want to spend the next hour fighting with me over over the nature of masturbation?
Not exactly. That was the last thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so let's just move on. Let's move the goalposts. All right, so Carl makes the argument. So people listening to this are like, well, why are they like it's said in the episode, so this relates. But he was like that it's virtual reality. So let's talk about another TV show that we love. Good old The Orville.
Oh yeah.
Okay, when the Mocklin, who's the commander on the show, Bortus.
Yep. Yeah, I know where this is going.
Bortus resents his husband and is utterly dissatisfied in their marriage and is angry and frustrated, and he does not want to have the sexual event. But he's about to get his fuck on
Mm-hmm.
in the VR room.
Yep.
In all kinds of different ways.
Oh boy.
So there's no real people involved in this. This is all virtual. But one could say like that's basically like high-tech masturbation, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But I think it's even said in that episode that because he was so utterly reliant on this to fill that need for him, that hang on one second. So you had the situation there with the Mockman. Sorry, I had to go check on my kids for a moment, so we had to pause the podcast. Anyway, so there was no other person involved, but you had Clyden, I believe is his husband's name, who was feeling abandoned, feeling like he was disconnected. He was clearly wanting to have sex, and Bortus wasn't having any of it. And so Bortus isn't communicating, Bortus isn't working on things, Bortus is just kind of filling. See, like, what is the nature of cheating? I think the simple answer is, well, when you bang another person that isn't the one you're in a monogamous relationship with. But don't you think, like, cheating can be an emotional thing? I'm having my needs met that should be met by my partner, met by something or someone else.
Okay, there could be an argument for that. I could see what you're saying there.
Here, let's put this. Let's get real here for a second.
No,
right?
All right.
Let's say this that we had this technology now, and Sheena from your work.
Oh, Sheena,
because she's a punk rocker, right? Well, no, think about that. Like some hot broad you work with, Jesse. Like you could somehow get her image into this VR space and just bang her whenever you felt like it. Well, you're really just, it's just the sensation. You're not really touching another human being, but that's an experience you're not having with your wife. That, that's just high-tech jerking off. Cheating or not cheating?
That's tough to say, man. I mean, it really is. The emotional argument's a good one. The fact that you're getting some type of emotional satisfaction out of something that you're not getting from your partner.
Right.
But
see, I think it is.
I mean,
I absolutely think I go into a VR machine and bang someone who isn't my wife. It is absolutely cheating because I know for a fact why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I don't feel satisfied in my relationship, and I'm choosing not to do anything about it. I'm just choosing to get my rocks off.
So, who are you hurting in that situation, though?
You're hurting the other person by not working on your relationship. You're taking the easy way out.
Yeah. Are you going to be able to resolve those things? Man, that's a lot of work. And I think that's why porn is such an easy thing.
Right.
But
even Family Guy kind of dealt with it where, I don't know if you saw the episode where Chris is like, a girl actually asks him to a dance and he says no. And Brian's like, but for why? She was hot. And he goes, I have all the hot girls I have in my room. I need in my room.
Oh boy.
There's a desensitization that occurs from the overuse of porn. There's an inability to communicate that comes up, an inability to socialize. Like society already has problems with these things because of the availability of porn and the unlimited use of it. It's fundamentally changed the way women and men operate with each other.
I could see that.
Can I once again bring up the infamy of dick pics?
Please. The floor is yours.
that women out there, that it used to be a man would lay his jacket over a puddle so that this fair woman would not dirty her feet and shoes. Now they send pictures of their genitalia. Unsolicited.
Unsolicited.
You know how many girls I've heard say, our conversations go, "Hi, how are you? I'm good. How are you, dick pic?"
Well, that's how you are. Delete.
Interesting. And I think it's kind of like fishing. It's like you send enough dick pics out, at least one girl's going to be like, yeah, that's what I'm in the mood for. Hot cock.
Mm. Well, you're just hoping to get that, ah, yeah, baby. Bring it on. Best of luck with that.
The roulette wheel approach to dating.
Yeah.
Just cover the board.
She likes my penis.
Yeah.
Match made in heaven. Well, again, this episode had a lot of grist for the mill.
Yeah.
It's definitely uncomfortable. It brings up a lot of, just some very, very controversial subjects, in my opinion. I think some things that, we didn't even touch on the fact that, I thought more along the lines, I was like, okay, well, this guy is, it's almost, there's that Warcraft element where he's diving into a game when this wasn't taking over his life. It was just making him do some shady things behind his wife's back. Much like Warcraft. I think we've talked about Warcraft on here, didn't we? Was it
Sure.
Warcraft?
Dude,
Yeah.
my wife, not threatened to divorce me, but she was very unhappy with me because, I basically just stopped interacting because I was too busy playing Warcraft. I think at one point I didn't want to, go out and do something because I had to raid. And she was like, please stop playing this game. Then we had my daughter, and I quit the game.
Yeah. That happens. I understand that. But yeah, this was a powerful one. And then, you get through it and you're just like, what, is this? I think this couple is managing the best that they can. And I don't think the troubles have ended for them. I think this was just a focus on these 2/3. I mean, my goodness, how awkward was it when she invited his friend over for dinner? And you're like, oh my gosh, no. So
let's talk a little, just for a minute about the craft elements of this show. I don't think this was as written as well as it could have been. I feel like a lot of the stuff going on with Anthony Mackie wasn't really fleshed out. There was too much focus on the physical, emotional stuff within the game, and not enough on why he was dissatisfied in the first place. Like, when we meet him after the time jump at the barbecue,
oh yeah,
he's staring at some chick's ass, and he just, he's just kind of looking into the middle distance as he's grilling, and he just looks like he hates life. But it's not like his wife was a shrew.
No. There's obviously some discontent.
Yeah, but I would have liked him to have addressed that. I feel
something to explain why.
Right. I wasn't getting a sense of what are you so dissatisfied about, unless the message here, like American Beauty, is beneath the veneer of middle to upper middle class society lies a deep undercurrent of dissatisfaction. To which I say, fuck you. We're not all that unhappy.
No, I don't think it was an overarching. Me personally, I just took it as, okay, well, this dude's going through some stuff. I don't think it was like a broad sweeping. This is everybody that's in.
Well, what would have settled the argument between me and you had they fucking said it out loud what was going on with him.
True. There
would have been no debate then. You and I wouldn't be arguing about it.
That's true. It's true.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about the craft part of things. I just know that things got really weird and uncomfortable for me when when the dude.
Tell me why.
Well, as soon as I'll tell you why, because I played video games for at least a good 75% of my life, and at least half of that time that I was playing, I had a friend of mine sitting beside me playing Madden or playing Mortal Kombat 2, or and so that right there was weird.
I
I
have a
was like,
question. After you watch that
okay,
episode, did you see like Caleb and Colton like playing the Xbox, just smacking it out of the hand? They're like, I don't know what you two perverts are doing.
stop it, stop it. It was just, it was really strange because these two people who seemed to be best friends were all of a sudden like, you know, going at it, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second, okay, that you guys, there was a line there that I felt was like, okay, you guys just not
What?
only did you cross it, you
What?
stepped all over it.
What if one of the messages of the episode is that you know there are people that like Ronnie talked about this, and I don't think this is totally how he meant it, but he talked about like on the toxic masculinity, the toxic fandoms podcast. I don't have to agree with you to love you, and he's talking about love of friendship,
Yeah, yeah,
love within faith, that sort of thing. Ronnie's a spiritual guy and all that, but the idea that's being, I think, bandied about in this episode, one of the ideas, is that you may be a heterosexual, but you may, in fact, love your best friend. And sometimes your best
sure,
friend and your mate are not the same people. But because of social mores, because of genetics, because of upbringing, because of any number of factors, you don't act out on that love. And then this video game comes along that throws all of those things out the window to where you can design an individual experience to then act out on that love.
yeah.
And that's kind of what's going on in this episode.
I was probably as confused as Anthony Mackie was after it happened. I was like, what? What? Okay, you got some shit to sort out, and that was what the most of this was him trying to sort this shit out. And the fact that his buddy wouldn't leave him alone either. That was,
He was in a lot of pain, that guy.
yeah, he just like, oh, come on, man, just one more. I'm like, dude, just if you were his friend, leave him the fuck alone, leave him alone. But
I don't know.
whatever, man.
I had a friend of mine when I was in high school who got mad at me for talking to his ex-girlfriend. Like I was in a weird situation where I was friends with a girl before I was even like friends with him, and I became friends with him, and then they started dating, and then when they broke up, he got very like draw a line in the sand. He was like, and that's it, and you're not allowed to talk to her anymore. I'm like, but she's my friend. And when he found out about it, he was like, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And it broke my heart. And it felt like I was being broken up with.
Yeah, that's rough.
And that's just a dude. That was a dude friend.
Yeah.
Like I have no desire then nor now to have sex with the guy.
Don't want to bang him.
Yeah, no banging. But it hurt me deep when he was like, I don't want to be friends with you. And it messed me up. I was like, I think 14 or 15 years old, and it broke my heart. So
were you, deviously trying to figure out a way to go visit him like this dude did? Send him another friend request, or hey,
before friend requests,
invite me over for dinner.
This was the early '90s, my friend.
Okay.
This was by friend request. It was ride my bike to his house. I don't know. Maybe I might have stood outside his window when it was raining with a boombox on my head.
Oh, might have happened.
Might have happened.
Oh man, we have beat this one to death. Let's move on. My goodness.
I don't have the horse thing. God damn you. I'm on a different terminal. Yeah, let's move on. We spent almost an hour talking about the one. Here goes the next one in 5 minutes.
Okay, I've been reaching smithereens. I've been reaching to try and figure out something about this episode. Do your best description there of what happens, and then I might have something to throw in that may mean something.
Okay, so Smithereens in this universe is basically Facebook. This guy kills his fiance checking his Facebook, and he wants to tell Mark Zuckerberg what he thinks about it. And the message inherent in the technology here is, and what gets talked about between the Mark Zuckerberg character, which is played by Topher Grace, and the lead, who is played by Andrew Scott, is that essentially Facebook is a drug. It was designed to be that way, and that the addiction is literally killing people. That's the whole episode.
And when we say literally killing people, I mean, it's not like, you've got to get back on there or you're going to die. There are accidents that happen because of this addiction.
Yeah, and I don't know about Ohio, because you guys are still on like horse and buggy, but
There are quite a few horse and buggies just north of here. Amish country.
but here in Florida, it's illegal to text and drive, and if you're caught, you'll get fined, possibly arrested.
Yeah, they just put a law about, I want to say it was about 5 or 6 years ago here in the city of Marietta, where, they catch you, you're going to, with the phone in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the phone in your hand, you will be fined. And they were doing some shady stuff too, man. They were sitting on the corner, plain clothes, and right there in front of Speedway, my friend of mine was parked, at a stoplight, pulled his phone up. They came over, knocked on the window, and said, "Pull over here. We want to talk to you." She's like, "What's?" And then they showed the badge. She got a parking ticket. Ticket. So
I was telling my wife about this episode, and she was like, FOMO is real. And I'm like, what's FOMO? It's like fear of missing out. FOMO.
that's right, FOMO.
And that, again, Facebook is designed, it gives you that instant satisfaction. Like, a lot of what's done is done for likes. And I'm not, like, a lot of times on these shows we talk about things going on in the world, and, like, we're, like, above that. Not in this case. No, I'm just as bad. I will sit there at a stop. Like, I got for Father's Day one of those pop socket deals.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. I know what you're talking about. On the back of the old iPhone.
Yep.
Yep.
And I got a holder for it for my car. And so it's like right there next to the steering wheel now. And I will at a fucking stop. I drove to work watching YouTube today.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. That's what this episode is about. I mean, that is what this episode is about. It's about people like you.
Yeah. I was watching Half in the Bag.
Oh, jeez.
Now, thankfully, that's more talking than it is anything I have to really look at. But it was there. It was in front of me. And I'm driving home today, not while I'm driving, but if I'm at a stoplight, I'm like checking Facebook.
Yeah.
I check Facebook in between having to deal with clients. Like, I'll write up an assessment, and then before I see another person, I'm on Facebook. Like, what's going on? What I miss? Come on, Deadline. Come on, Variety. Announce a new movie.
Yeah. This was I had a really good time watching this one.
Oh, did you?
I did. I mean, it didn't feel like a scourge to get there. It didn't feel bad to get through.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Andrew Scott's acting. I thought he was pretty convincing as this.
It's all
real. Go ahead.
It's all well performed.
Yeah, he was a broken man whose fiance was killed by an action that he took that was very, very, very insignificant, but led to a horrible tragedy.
Sure.
Just checking his Facebook, and I think really it all hinges upon this thriller where he's got a hostage and he wants to talk to the head guy, and here come the police. They've got him in a field. Are they going to kill him? And now here's the thing: the ending can kiss my ass. Okay, I don't know if you remember the ending.
Oh, I totally remember the ending. They
Yeah.
shoot, and you don't know if they killed him or not.
Now that right there really. First off, don't watch episodes like that with my wife, because the famous words of Mindy Starcher are, "That was stupid," and that the 3 words that came out of her mouth after we watched this, and that it ended like that. Everything was great up to that point. You're like, okay, who did he shoot? You don't know. Now here's the thing, Mark. You ready for the meta shit on this? Are you ready?
I am ready, sir.
Fear of missing out. Okay? Think about that and think about that ending. All right?
Okay.
That when you miss out, are you not mad? Are you not like, oh, geez, I got to see what's going on. What happened?
You talking about like the ambiguous ending? Well,
The
didn't he get
ambiguous
shot?
ending is meta as fuck because it makes you pissed because you want to know what happened and they don't tell you.
Okay. So I'm going to play devil's advocate here and defend an ambiguous ending.
Okay.
The point of this is it's a editorial, it's a commentary on the nature of social media as an addictive substance.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter if he got shot or not.
In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. I guess. I mean,
So
to
whether
me,
it doesn't change anything.
true, it doesn't. The thing is that the way that they handled this, the only thing that you see as this all goes down is everybody looking at their notifications,
Right.
finding out what actually happened.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the whole thing about this episode is he wants to tell Topher Grace how his app, by design, ruined this guy's life. And, and Topher Grace has a moment where he kind of like reflects on things, and he's like, this isn't what, I was never meant to do this. And, and I think Mark Zuckerberg's kind of talked about this as well. It's like, it was never supposed to be like this. This was, a way to connect people. It wasn't supposed to replace the your social existence. It wasn't
Connecting people.
Yeah.
It does that, but I think anymore, what do we see? We see a lot of division. But go ahead. That's not part of this episode anyway.
It has definitely, in many cases, replaced social interaction.
True.
Like, if I always think about this, when I think about, like, comments or whatever. We have joked, and I won't do it now, but we have definitely joked about the comments we've gotten collectively on the Radulich and Broadcasting YouTube page. I don't seem to get them anywhere else, including Twitter. But YouTube, people leave like the verbal equivalent of a pile of flaming dog shit
right on your doorstep.
Yeah, they just like, your podcast is terrible. You're terrible. You're a racist. Delete your account, faggot. And then like there's no interaction. Like I don't respond to it. But like the virtual space has given an opportunity for people to literally just to figuratively leave piles of dog shit everywhere.
Yeah.
As a form of interaction.
Yeah.
But they would never say it in real life. No. I have never once had anybody come up to me and be like, "You're a racist. Delete your account, faggot." Never.
Not happened. Not yet.
It's so funny. My wife, like I'm a big dude, and I'm working on like losing weight or whatever. When we were in the pool tonight, my wife was like, "What are these muscles right here?" And I'm like, "My traps." She's like, "Yeah, like when did you get these?" And I only bring that up to say, despite being heavy, I've always been, people have always kind of looked at me, even at my height, as like I walk like a tough guy. It's like people don't particularly want to get physical with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, look, very rarely, if ever, have I been confronted in public in a very negative way. It's all virtual. And it just goes back to that idea of, like, almost a 9 out of 10 interactions would never happen in real life.
It's true. That's true. Yeah, I think really they hung their hat on the ending of this. I think that was most of it. It tried to keep you entertained all the way up through, and then they're like, here's the Black Mirror ending, and then boom. And that was it. I mean, everybody stopped when they got the alert, which is exactly what this guy was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
How that life just stops just to find out what exactly you're missing. And you pop up that alert, you look at it, and then you go on about your lives. And the problem is that it has caused a lot of serious trauma in people, especially those that have the texting and driving thing's huge. It's sad too, and it's a real problem. I mean, it's actually I don't know how. Well, once we get to self-driving cars, Mark, we won't have to worry about it, right? The
Yeah,
robots. Once the robots take over, we'll be okay.
it will be fine. Um, I was not particularly satisfied with the ending. Like, to wait almost an hour for him to basically tell Topher Grace, your app killed my what? Your app affected me in such a way that it killed my wife. And Topher Grace is like, yeah, it was never supposed to be like that, and I feel guilty. And the guy's like, who fucking cares? And then they shoot
Yeah.
him.
Well,
Like, maybe.
this guy just wanted to be heard. That's all it was. He wanted to be heard by the one
It
person.
was lame.
Lame, dude. If you had the opportunity to talk to Mark Zuckerberg about something that you want to change that affected you that bad on
You're asking
Facebook,
the wrong person. I'm not blaming Facebook for my stupid mistakes.
you okay, all right.
That's like blaming Jack Daniels for drunk driving.
I don't think he blamed him. I think all he wanted to do was talk to him and just tell him what happened. I don't think there was anything about blame here.
Okay.
He
I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go finish.
No, that was pretty much it. I don't think that he intended to blame him. He was wanting to talk to this guy because he thought that this is
Jesse,
what happened.
if you ever get into a car accident and kill Mindy because you were checking Facebook or like or periscoping or I don't know whatever it is you're doing in the car, and you like I just want to tell the guy who invented Periscope to fuck himself, I would get that and I would feel for you as a friend and as a human being. As if you filmed it for television, I don't know if I'd watch it.
Okay, fair enough, but it isn't for you. It's for me. It's my is catharsis the right word? It's my way of trying to deal with my own pain.
Are you speaking as the character or as the viewer?
No,
Because my
I'm
argument is, as a viewer, this was thoroughly uninteresting.
okay. I got you. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to defend the character's position here
Okay.
and why he did what.
Oh,
Now, okay,
I
if you're
totally
saying,
get that. I just like this one comes off like a stage play. Two, I just wasn't interested in what was happening, and when it got to the conclusion, I'm like, that just makes it worse.
this was stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that this was the best of the series, but it definitely it kept me interested most of the time up until the very end when I felt really upset and didn't put the whole FOMO thing together until you told me about it. So
You know, what would have made the episode more interesting?
tell me,
If he had had his druthers and fucked that pig.
you come out of the car and yelled, "It's pointless."
He's just fucking a pig. He's like, this is what I think of Facebook.
We have a new development, sir. A new development. He has a pig in the car.
See, instead of the guy from Snowfall, he should have taken a pig hostage. And he'd be like, if I don't talk to Mark Zuckerberg in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to fuck this here pig.
It's happening. It's a happening.
It would have been a much more interesting episode.
It's like the sequel to what we watched the first episode. Same pig. It's just been this story about this pig.
Black Mirror, the story of a poor helpless pig who's raped again and again and again.
Oh, boy, Black Mirror, you have gotten dark. My goodness.
Rachel, Jack, and Ashley too.
Oh, yes.
I loved this episode. One of the guys from Half in the Bag brought this up in their review of the new Child's Play, and he was like, that episode sucked, and he didn't explain why or anything, because God forbid, but I adored this episode. As a Black Mirror episode, it's not great. It's very out of place in this series. As a action adventure comedy,
Perfect.
it's fucking hilarious, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was a good time. I told Mindy, I said I wasn't expecting this to be. Most of these episodes are what? Oh, I mean, last one was 70 minutes. This one's 67 minutes. So they're a little over an hour and 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was At first, I was like, man, how dark is this going to get? Then all of a sudden, they crack open the AI brain and let loose Ashley is her name, Ashley
Yeah.
O.
Yep.
So, I mean, did you want to quickly synopsis it real quick?
There's a disaffected, lonely girl who's moved to a new town, can't make friends, and she's awkward. But she's also like a big Ashley O fan who is essentially aping like a Britney Spears type character. Um, and so half the episode is sort of spent with this girl and her family. Like the dad's trying to create and sell a better mousetrap,
Yeah,
literally.
and it actually is the better mousetrap.
They talk about their mom who's died and how it affected the elder daughter who got very dark and gothy and started playing bass and became very obsessed with the music that her mom listened to, which was shitty. It's like Sonic Youth or some shit. Boo. Take the nose ring out, you poser. So, I'd have been much more interested in that character if she was like, I'm obsessed with the music mom listened to, like Slayer.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. Anyway, quit picking on the music taste of whoever wrote this. So,
Dude, there was a creator album referenced in 2 episodes of Dark so far. So, much respect for the. I know we aren't talking Dark at any time, but that's a Netflix series, and that'll get your respect right there. Some creator references.
before you convince me to watch anything else, we need to get Good Omens on the schedule, and we need to
Sir,
talk about it.
you don't want the nosebleeds that Dark would happen to have in store for you. Trust you me.
What does that mean?
That means there's a time travel and
Nope, forget it.
yeah,
I'm done.
I'm telling you, dude. There's 3 sets of characters you got to.
I can't deal with the time travel in the Flash show, let alone whatever it is you're talking about.
How about German and you need subtitles? How's that for you?
Moving on. So the other side of this episode is the Ashley stuff, where she's like I said, she's a Britney Spears type character, and she's out there. Part of it is that they're hawking an AI that is Ashley O for people to buy, and it's supposed to like give you makeup tips. It's kind of like the newest iteration of like My Buddy / Kid Sister / Teddy Ruxpin.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, much like the actual Miley Cyrus Hannah Montana situation, where she kind of grew out of this pop star kid sensation and started to want to be taken seriously as an adult music artist, but selling bubblegum pop to teenagers is what pays the bills, and so there's a conflict between her and her aunt, who is her manager, and when Ashley just like starts to rebel, the aunt puts her into a coma, like overdoses her, puts her into a coma. And the Black Mirror technology aspect of it is that while she's in a coma, her brain is still actively functioning and working.
That's so weird.
And
They start pulling songs out of her head
she's
with that technology.
She's composing music in her mind while she's comatose, and they are able to use a piece of technology to extract the songs, and then they fix it in post to make it like playable for the teenage set that's fans of Ashley O. Yeah. Then they create a scalable hologram of her for touring purposes.
So
well, I mean, they did this with like Tupac, if you'll remember.
I do. They made him a hologram, and
yep,
it's crazy.
So they make a hologram of her, and in sort of like the nightmare scenario, she's able to tour instantaneously all over the world at once, that kind of thing. So essentially,
never get tired.
Yeah. So essentially, they extract her essence and create the virtual pop star that they can control and manipulate and use to make money, because the human host has become uncooperative. The AI sees that the host body is in a coma and like freaks out. The the two girls attempt to fix it, and they take off the inhibitors. And so basically, this is kind of like a USS Callister situation. Her brain waves, her personality, everything about her has been copied into this robot. And so essentially it's her in a little robot body.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds like a fucking dream.
Yeah, that's Mark Radulich written all over right there.
Like, give me an actual, like, Deathlock or, or Cable body, give me a RoboCop or something. That, oh my god. That's the dream.
Hell yeah, dude.
You need an oil change is much better than you've got cancer. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Can't agree more.
So anyway, not to bring the podcast down, but, so that's where, like, a lot of the humor of the episode is just you've got this Miley Cyrus fucking, character in this little body just cursing up a storm and like, fuck my aunt, and what the fuck is,
Get that. She's plugged into the computer to charge, and when she finally awakes, she screams, and then she says, "Get that fucking cable out of my ass! Holy shit! It's like a wire anchor in my butthole."
Yeah. That's where we start with this character. So unplug my butthole, and we go from there. So she manipulates the girls, or harangues the girls into taking her back to her house, where she finds herself in a coma. And I think initially she's just like, I'm going to pull the plug and just let my body die because I don't want to be used this way. But that ends up waking her up out of the induced coma. And then a madcap chase ensues. There's all kinds of fun things happening. They knock out the evil doctor, and they knock out the bodyguard, and and there's all kinds of fun stuff happening, and they get in the car, and there's a big chase, and they drive literally into the Forum, whatever Coliseum this is, in Los Angeles, and the last thing you see is her confronting the aunt, and she just gives her the finger. And
then, shortly after, she's rocking out and doing a different version. She's doing a different version of her famous song, the actual cover of the Nine Inch Nails song, isn't it?
Yeah, so her pop song is called On a Roll, and it's like a WCW sound-alike entrance music type of thing, where, it's lifted from Head Like a Hole by Nine Inch Nails. Well, now that she's free of her aunt and can do her own thing, she forms a rock band. They call themselves the Ashley fucking O's, which is awesome, by the way. Not as good as John Cougar Concentration Camp, but really what is.
We would cover an Ashley fucking O album on the Metal Hammer of Doom. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely would. I was obsessed with that song over the weekend. I posted it on the Radulich and Broadcasting Facebook page, which I got to tell you about that in a second. So anyway, the girl bassist joins the band, and they're performing Head Like a Hole, and they show some old Ashley O fans in the audience who run away because, oh my god, a 30-year-old Nine Inch Nails song is too much for them.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
Oh, the snowflakes. And then the AI is, of course, still around, and she's got an Anarchy sticker on her, and she's rocking out at the bar with the other girl. Because they're still friends.
Yeah.
So that's that.
That was that. So, yeah, one of the comments here on TV Time, I think, supports what you were saying. They said Ashley O equals Hannah Montana, Ashley's aunt equals Disney, Ashley fucking O equals Miley Cyrus.
Uh-huh.
So, she probably might have been one of the most perfect, casting for this character.
I can't believe how deep and gravelly her regular speaking voice is versus how she sings. It's unreal.
Yeah, yeah.
She sounds like she's been smoking cigars and hanging out with Wolverine.
I have no complaints about her acting here. I don't think I had any problem. Of course, most of the time she was a doll or laying in bed. But when she was awake and actually acting, and she's a pretty accomplished actress. And the execution of the episode was pretty fun. Just like you said, it's that would have been awesome as a kid to have one of your idols end up in, actually be able to hang out with them for a
Yeah.
few, whether they be a doll or not. But that would have been the shit. So I had a good time watching this one. This was actually one that felt like it had a decent ending.
Yes. I really enjoyed this episode. This was probably my favorite of season 5, just for the sheer silliness of it. It very much felt like a Disney movie minus the language.
Agreed.
Um, and it was just fun. I mean, the one thing I was thinking about in terms of, well, what's the greater message here? What does this say about the nature of man and technology in 2019? The idea of, like, I kept thinking about the movie Get Him to the Greek.
Haven't seen it.
It's been a long time, and if you asked me to tell you anything beyond the most basic plot, I couldn't do it. But essentially, Get Him to the Greek is the idea of it is you have this like ridiculous, entitled, hard to handle celebrity, and they're just like, we just need to get him to the fucking Greek, like, and have him perform. And this idea of artists, performers can be a lot to deal with. Another really funny joke, and I've talked about this one on the podcast before, but it makes me laugh just to think about it. They talked about Lewis Black talked about like George W. Bush's handlers, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
why does he have handlers? What is he, a bear? Like, what are you, leading him around the White House with meat? Like, come on, we need him to go to the Rose Garden. Get the meat. Come on. Love Lewis Black. But that's I think if you were to talk to like handlers of celebrities, they would tell you that, they are paying they are making a very much a Faustian bargain dealing with some of the crazier people on the planet.
Okay. That's fair.
And so I think for a lot of them, like, they secretly wish that they just had like a controllable facsimile of the celebrity that they could just make do a thing.
Yeah.
A little hard to relate. I'm not a celebrity. This very much felt like, like it was directed to directed to that audience. Like if you're us as regular folks, it's like, oh, this is kind of fun and it's horrible. The whole extracting music from her brain thing is horrifying and all that. But it's like, it's not a particularly relatable episode unless you're an actual celebrity. And then it's like, This is my nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah, I kept thinking that I was seeing the girl that played, was it Jack?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the girl that played Jack.
Madison Davenport.
I swear I recognized her from something before.
Oh, she looks like another actress.
And that's got to be what it is. Because I was looking, I hopped on her IMDb, I looked on Wikipedia, and I didn't recognize anything she was in. So
yeah,
okay.
She looks like Rachel Weisz.
Okay, maybe that's where I'm getting that from.
Google Rachel Weisz. Let's do it together. Ready?
All right. Ooh, Rachel Weisz. I need to. WEISD?
Okay, maybe not. Now I'm thinking it might be somebody else.
I'm going to say so too.
Yeah, that's not her.
Welcome to We Were Wrong.
I can't think of the actress'
Don't.
name. I have very much like a picture in my mind of who she looked like, because you're thinking it too. Like there's definitely an actress that she looks fucking Lindsay Lohan.
Maybe.
I think I got like a Lindsay Lohan Mean Girls vibe from her.
Okay. Well, either way, again, I had a good time. Not really much for me to pull out of here. There's not a big time revelation. Yeah, it sucks. It would suck to be a celebrity and be, hey, I don't want to have to.
Okay. They were young Lindsay Lohan.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. But yeah, I got too many other things to worry about than becoming a celebrity and have to worry about my aunt trying to poison me and make all the fans happy. It's that is I'm sure I think about that a lot. You know, for people who are extremely famous, their lives are so much different than ours.
Hmm.
So many different things to worry about,
Well,
and
you know,
the content
well, think about Kurt Cobain, who was murdered by his wife. Um,
that
and
came up on what did we talk about just recently? Oh yeah, that'll be coming up on the 25 years ago in March.
mhm.
This past year, we were on the Kapow, the Pop Culture podcast. That unfortunate incident came up.
So he was absolutely murdered.
Okay.
And the story behind it goes that he was going to leave Courtney Love because she's a toxic, horrible human being. And he was going to quit the music business because, and this is a sentiment that you get from a lot of musicians, is that they just don't want to play the same, popular songs to meet their contractual obligations and, and to keep the ticket sales rolling in. They want to explore and experiment and do other things. And so, he had plans, allegedly, to kind of move on and do some other stuff, maybe do some, like he'd made his money. Like now was the time to go do other stuff. Like John Moxley talked about this on Jericho's podcast, like formerly Dean Ambrose, where he was like, I've made all the money I need to make. Now it's time for me to be a performer, to do art, and he's talking about that as a wrestler. Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys was quoted as saying he quit the Dead Kennedys because he didn't want to be singing Holiday in Cambodia for his lunch. And so you get a lot of that. But then, these are businesses. Kurt Cobain was a business. Jello Biafra was a business.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose was a business. And a lot of people depend on them for paychecks. A lot of, they have contractual obligations, and, I think therein lies the tension. But, okay, cool. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Again, it's not really relatable to me as a viewer.
Yeah, and as soon as she started to deviate from the norm, people started to become a little bit more concerned. Obviously, a little too concerned, the way her aunt handled things.
Mm.
But imagine, I mean, I don't know. We're not too far from some crazy deep fake music. I mean, they're already doing deep fake fucking. Have you heard the term deep fake, by the way?
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. So I'm sure you've seen what I'm talking about, though. There is the first time I ever seen it there was a rather unsettling video of, was it Gary Sinise? No, not Gary Sinise. Oh my goodness. What is his name? Played in,
Is it Lindsay Lohan?
no, it's not Lindsay Lohan, you son of a bitch.
Was it Rachel Weisz?
No, he played in Con Air. I think he was in Armageddon as well. Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi's face was filtered onto the body of, I think, Jennifer Garner. And
why?
She was delivering some kind of acceptance speech for an award or something. But it was so convincing. I mean, you're like, is that really Steve Buscemi? Now, the problem is that this was done really easily. Really easily. So it wouldn't surprise me that we're going to get some deep fake music at some point where they are just going to take, I'm sure that they could just take the sound of somebody's voice and, really start to, AI is doing it already. They're making songs. Granted, they're rather rudimentary songs, but I imagine if you fed enough of somebody's personality and lyrics into an AI program, it's going to spit out a song that may look very much like what that person would sing. Now, they take it to, obviously, the Black Mirror level on this, where somebody is practically unconscious and they're pulling that shit out of their head. But it's not too far off from where we can be in a few years. If you do me a favor and just type, and you don't have to do it now, but later tonight, just type in the term deep fake. It's It's very, very concerning. Somebody shared something a while back where all they did was, now I'm sure you've seen face swap on like Snapchat or whatever. You've seen that done, right?
Yep.
Somebody face swapped with a picture. Not just a picture though, a black and white 18 or 1900s picture, okay?
Uh-huh.
And it then they just, took out the second person that they face swapped with, and the picture looked like it was talking. I mean, it legitimately looked like this bearded man from the 19th century was talking to you in a video. It was it's going to be it's we're not too far from it, Mark Radulich. There's going to be some scary stuff that happens, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because that's kind of what happens here. They take this lady, and Ashley O's, she's not around anymore, but here's some of her music. So I don't think we're far off from that, Mark Radulich. How far are we from ending this episode?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. The CPAP. Were you able to bring the CPAP with you?
Oh, I told my wife if she doesn't bring the CPAP, I wasn't sleeping at my in-laws.
Okay, there you go. I was going to say.
My wife told me that, she sells Posh, and I don't know if you know what Posh is. No, you don't know. You're a dude.
Posh Spice. I know Posh Spice.
Posh Spice. It's beauty products.
Okay.
And it's like direct sales. You throw parties and shit like that, kind of a thing. One of her friends is big and Posh, and she sells for her, and it's that pyramid marketing kind of thing. Anyway, they were talking about how using your social media to sell product, and we got to talking about my stuff, and she was like, you need to be doing more with your Radulich and Broadcasting Facebook page, and I was like, but for why? And she said that just putting up the shows doesn't really get people to come to the page. You share a lot of movie and music news and stuff like that, in addition to stuff about cancer and pictures of the kids and whatever. You need to be sharing a lot of that stuff on the Radulich and Broadcasting Facebook page in order to get people to come back to it and interact with it, and then they'll also see your podcast, and maybe some of them will click on it and listen to it, and you'll build up your listeners. So that's why there was a deluge of posts over the last few days.
Oh, okay. I noticed we got a few extra people.
Yeah, I sent out another series. I sent out another series of requests.
Well, maybe I'll have to follow suit here.
Yeah.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
Yeah.
Add the fucking people. Yeah.
Yeah. Say some comic book news. Tom King's afraid of his own shadow. Put that up on the source material page.
Sam Keith, the greatest artist alive.
Fuck you. Jesse Starcher, what did you think of the season overall?
Well, I'll read from a meme that I got on Facebook right now.
Okay.
I assure you, it is substandard. It wasn't great, man.
This did not rise to the heights of San Juniper or the USS Callister.
Oh, jeez.
Not by a long shot.
And nothing will ever beat. Never mind. Can't even remember the name of it. The one with John Hamm and him trying to interrogate the guy.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite episodes of all time, and this season just fell far from it. I don't know.
This didn't have the creepy factor. This, when people what's a Black Mirror? But basically it's technology-driven Twilight Zone. This didn't really have that.
No.
There was an exploration of sexuality and relationships and everything in the first episode, and then they were sort of an editorializing on the nature of social media, and then there was a romp with Miley Cyrus.
It was not creepy at all.
None of these were creepy. None of these had that I don't feel clean after watching it feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully they will come up with some new ideas, some new content there for the next something that they can do to try and improve on what season 6 is. But Black Mirror is Black Mirror. It'll do what it fucking wants. So
Yeah. Look, I mean, I enjoyed the season to a degree. I was interested in what was going on. Look, there were 3 episodes, so 2 out of those 3 episodes entertained me in some way, and that third one at least was well performed. So I would give this a B- this season.
ooh, pretty high. I'll give it a C plus.
Okay, I don't know why you're being so hard on it.
I don't. Am I comparing it to the rest of the seasons that have come before it? Because you don't know why I'm being. I think I just figured out you were joking.
Hi, I'm Mark. Have we met?
It's like, see, oh my gosh. Oh,
How could you?
might as well just give it an F.
Oh! All right.
He's on the rag.
He's on the rag.
Oh, jeez. It's
We're
getting late.
ridiculous.
We're getting silly.
Yes, end this fucking show already. All right. So this is a special Wednesday edition of the TV Party Tonight podcast here on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. Tomorrow, you get your regularly scheduled, tomorrow being Thursday, we get your regularly scheduled Metal Hammer of Doom. We'll be looking at Amon Amoth Berserker. You can check out the archives. Yesterday, we did a review of Toy Story 4. The day before that, Tom King's in Crisis.
Oh, indeed.
Next week, we got the Jessica Jones, The Secrets of Maria's Hill. You're going to learn all about her secret that she keeps in her pants.
Thump.
Thump. You want to see something really scary?
Well, you know what LMD stands for.
Look at my dick. Jessica Jones says, pee in this cup. She's like, I'll show you pee in the cup.
No problem.
You ever see
Standing
Maria?
up.
You ever see Maria Hill stand up and pee? You will.
Oh, jeez. You will believe a woman can stand and pee.
It's Ripley's Believe It or Not. All right, and then we have a review of Jessica Jones season 2 on season 3 on Netflix, the last of the red hot Netflix Marvel shows. And then we're back on the Metal Harbor of Doom for some Upon a Burning Body Southern Hostility. All right, Jesse, I'm done. Podcoin.
Right.
Plug the Facebook page, plug the Podcoin, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, go give the Radulich in Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer.
And entertainment news.
Yeah, that's right. Entertainment news, comic news. We'll share some stories on there, some stuff you may be interested in. If you have a podcaster on your phone, some platform that you use, maybe you should check out Podcoin, because I doubt the one you're using right now pays you to listen to podcasts. Check out Podcoin, download it, give it a shot. You can find our show on there. Just type in Radulich. Most likely you can find just about any show that you listen to on there. And why not get paid while you're listening to podcasts? If you're like me, these things are an addiction. You are listening to them. If I'd have my druthers, I'd fuck that chimpanzee. I'd call it pointless. Mark's like, why? Why? Why did you do that during plugs?
Why did you do that while I was drinking? Dude, Sunday, I got tore up from the neck up, by the way.
I saw the old pictures there, buddy. I was curious as to what you were drinking. Then I saw Brodigan called you on it, and then you listed everything you drank. I was like, okay, yeah, that'll do it.
I finished the night. First of all, I poured myself. I'm quite a heavy pourer, Jesse Starcher. I'll get you fucked up.
Oh, boy.
But I went. My friend's like, I got coffee tequila. I'm like, you had me at coffee. So so I go. I grab his tequila. I grab his Patron, his coffee Patron, and I pour myself like a third of a cup of a solo cup.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "That's too much. You're gonna die." And I'm like, "But I'm gonna cut it with Bailey's." He was like, "Are you trying to get alcohol poisoning?"
What are you planning to do to yourself, sir?
So he made me do shots of it. He made me, Jesse. He made me do shots of coffee Patron, and then I still poured the same amount back in the cup, and I cut it with Bailey's, and I drank 2 of those, and I was feeling nice.
Wowzers!
I was sending a girl I'm friends with drunk texts.
I'm drunk. This is a text.
That's right. I was like,
Drunk text.
I just texted her I've been drinking. No,
Congratulations.
There were absolutely no dick pics.
Oh, that's good. That's
I didn't
good.
whip it out at the family barbecue and send it to my friend. Just want you to know that. I keep it classy.
One more wiener at the barbecue. All right.
There were hot dogs and Italian sausage. And I'm not just talking about me.
Were they all kosher?
Oh, believe me, it's kosher, baby.
Oh, no.
Oh my God,
Please.
let's get this over with.
Please, for the love of Pete, go give the. Like I said, we'll catch you. We'll catch you next week. My goodness, I don't know if you're coming back to this show or not. You damn well better. That's all I gotta say. Mark, get us the hell out of here.
All right, folks, be well, be safe, and behave.
O'Reilly.
There's a new O'Reilly Auto Parts store in Homestead on Southeast 6th Street. Stop by the grand opening celebration now through July 30th. You'll find everything from replacement parts to tools and accessories at everyday low prices. Visit the new O'Reilly Auto Parts store in Homestead. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices, every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Paint pros know what you don't paint is just as important as what you do paint. So the Home Depot has bulk pricing on a full assortment of 3M painters, tapes, and paint essentials. Everything you need, every day. Like 3M Hand Masker Film and Scotch Painter's Tape. For the cleanest results on every paint job, 3M and the Home Depot have got you covered. With bulk price savings on 3M paint essentials. Every day, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only.